Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Divine Feminine Healers podcast. It is your host, Angelica here, Ayurvedic practitioner and spiritual business owner. Today, we're talking all about how we can start to really understand our subconscious habits and behaviors and transform them into healthy habits to really feel grounded this Vata season. That's really what the energy of this full moon in Pisces is all about. So, we're going to get all into the energetics, what currently is going on. I know a lot of people have been feeling anxious and overwhelmed, and this makes sense because we're entering into Vata season as nature is showing us drier, cooler climates. What we can feel internally is that same coldness and dryness, which manifests as anxiety and overwhelm on the emotional level. On the physical level, it can be bloating, gas, constipation, having low or variable appetite. I for sure have been feeling it on the physical level. And I always notice I do feel this usually on the equinoxes because that's when I cleanse. So I cleanse seasonally every fall and every spring. I have been doing that for basically the past decade as a way to clear out toxins that have built up in my system over time. So my body always tells me when there is digestive imbalances that it's time to clear, it's time to create space. And I love the holistic approach to this, how we can clear space in our homes. We can clear space with our businesses. We can get organized, get focused so that we can really feel grounded. Because the reason why we feel worried and anxiety, there is a definitive fear that wants to be seen and it serves a purpose, even if it's not serving its highest purpose. So, for example, if you feel so overwhelmed on your business, on all the to-do list items that you have to do and all of the goals that you have, and you don't even know where to begin, you feel paralyzed. That fear is trying to keep you safe so that you don't stay the same and you don't take any action forward. However, is it really conducive to your growth in your business by holding on to that fear? Not necessarily. There's a way that we can transform it. So that really is the message here for Vata season, is how we can really transform these energies of feeling anxious and overwhelmed into actually feeling productive and grounded and organized. So in Vedic astrology, the full moon is in Pisces officially on Friday, September 29th at 2:57 p.m. Pacific Standard Time when when it'll be at its fullness. Whoops, I just knocked something over with my hand. So with this full moon in Pisces, Pisces is very much a dreamy sign. It's connected to the water element and it's symbolized by the two fishes. So there's very much this duality, being in the flow and surrenderness to this full moon. Now, specifically, it's placed in the nakshatra Uttara Bhadrapada. Pada. And this nakshatra is all about the subconscious mind and the unseen world and tuning into the metaphysical world, really connecting the physical to the spiritual. So for some of us who have clairvoyant gifts, we may be having very clear dreams lately. I know mine have been very wild and very clear. As you know, they tend to always be, but they're definitely heightened during this time as the moon is moving into Pisces. And what I love about dreams is it tunes us to our subconscious mind. What are the things we are unable to see in our waking state, in a conscious state? The dreams are able to reveal it to us from a state of observation. You know, when you're in your dream, if you're not astral projecting, if you're not controlling that dream, it truly is just showing you what is under the surface, what you haven't been able to take a closer look at. And what's so beautiful about dream interpretation and using that as a modality and tool is that it brings it from the subconscious to the conscious. So some of us may be getting messages that way. Some of us get messages in different ways. It could be showing up as a form of discomfort or a challenge in your body that wants to be cleared. So, for example, a lot of times our behaviors become unconscious. I've been noticing my relationship with social media and specifically Instagram. It's always one that I struggle with because I have to be on there for my work. And at the same time, I find myself easily getting pulled in this other direction of being on there when it's not attached to my work. And just that unconscious behavior of grabbing my phone and unlocking it and opening up the app is so habitual that it goes unconscious. I don't even realize how many times a day that I'm actually doing that. And the same thing that can be said about our eating habits. That's why I love focusing on cleansing and focusing on our food, not to be obsessed with our food and not to be obsessed with our diet, but it's such a good medium to understand our subconscious behaviors. I know when I'm feeling anxious that I really rush through my food, I'm not chewing thoroughly, I'm eating while I'm standing up. All of the unhealthy habits start to come up to the surface. And similarly, in my life, the same thing is happening. It feels like there's chaos. It feels like I'm struggling to get all my to-do lists done. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm moving too fast. I'm not taking enough time to pause. So these are the journal prompts that I have for this full moon. And if you want to refer to them, I also have them posted on my Instagram page at Angelica_feminine_healer. So if you already have your journal and pens out, amazing. If you don't, pause this, go and grab them so you can take some time to really reflect on what is in the subconscious mind that we want to bring to consciousness so that we can get clear and organized and focused for Vata season. So my first prompt is, what habits are you currently draining your energy and not aligned with your highest self? A really good exercise for doing this is just to for 1 week, if you're really unsure as to what habits are unhealthy for you, for 1 week, just seriously write down everything that you do in a day. And then at the end of the week, you can write next to that thing that you did if it drained your energy or if it filled your cup. Very simple. I use this practice a lot when I'm working with clients with boundaries because it really helps them to see what's draining their energy and what's not. And what is habits other than building strong inner boundaries for yourself? That lays the foundation for strong boundaries with your clients, with your friends, and with your family. Really, that's all this is creating clear boundaries and getting organized. It's like you're literally creating a little box for yourself so that not that you can say squeeze in this box, but that your ideas can really come to life and flourish because they're now in a contained space. So, what are those habits? And just make a huge list. For me, I just wrote down, okay, I'm feeling off lately. I'm feeling scatterbrained. What are all the things that are just not conducive to my health, my mind, my body, my spirit right now? Checking Instagram was one of them. Paying attention to my conscious eating habits was definitely another one of them. My nighttime routine, I was scrolling on TikTok. I wasn't going to bed at an earlier time. Like these type of habits that I know that I've had in the past that were kind of creeping up to the surface. So I just got them all down on a list. And then I want you to pick just one that feels the most important to you right now, that feels like, yeah, that one feels it's really going to move the needle and really going to clear space for me. When you pick that one, how can you place a strong boundary around this habit? So if you are finding difficulty right now, finding a boundary, because it's like, well, I just don't want to do that anymore. If it's going to your cupboard and eating something that's unhealthy, it's very easy to say, okay, well, I just won't do that anymore. But that actually may feel like 5 steps ahead of where you're at right now. Maybe the first step is just placing your hand on your heart whenever you have that impulse to go to the cupboard, taking a deep breath, and asking yourself, what does my body truly want in this moment? And what do I need emotionally, physically, and mentally? Those moments of pauses before we actually go into the habit are so key because so much of them are on subconscious, are on autopilot that we don't realize they're not actually serving the initial purpose that they were meant to. So I know if I could take some time to pause before I open up the Instagram app, for example, I know that isn't what my body and my mind usually wants and needs. And all it takes is that level of consciousness. Now, there's definitely smaller steps that you can take to get here. I feel really passionate about creating habits. It's something that I take my clients through a lot. A good resource for this is reading the book Atomic Habits. I absolutely love it. It's super good at getting to your goals in a really easy and approachable way. But baby steps is basically my biggest advice for everyone, and that's truly the Ayurvedic way. We always ease our way into things. For example, I'm starting my cleanse next week, and instead of the next day just eating a completely different diet, mono diet, and going cold turkey, I'm easing my way in with this week. I'm taking baby steps to get there so that my nervous system doesn't feel shocked, and it's not like I'm plunging into some cold water right now. I'm easing my way in, and that's going to keep me in this relaxed state of mind to keep me really grounded when I start to create that boundary. We talked about this in our full moon ceremony this week for the women in my community. And one of the boundaries was breaking the habit of tending to go. So let me break this down. She has this habit whenever there is a discrepancy between another person, instead of confronting them, instead of speaking her truth, she tends to just recluse, go by herself, and then not bring anything up and just take that time for alone. When really she wants to do is speak her truth, speak her mind, communicate more freely, and use that as an opportunity for a deeper connection with someone, rather than just saying, my need's not getting met, it's never going to get met, I'm just going to go alone and have time to myself. So the first step of this, obviously, to create a boundary around this would be like, okay, well, I just won't do that anymore. I'm just going to start talking to that person. But truly, her first step was just pausing, placing her hand on her heart and listening, and asking her what she needed and what she wanted in that moment. Does she need more connection, or is she actually needing some alone time to digest what just happened in order for her to know what she wants to say to this person in the future? So taking baby steps and creating that boundary. And the third question is, what core need is this habit trying to fulfill? So I kind of lightly touched on this already. We know that this habit was put in place originally to serve a purpose. For example, if you go to the cupboard and you want to get something sweet, it may be to comfort you. Maybe it's to not feel this emotion that feels really uncomfortable and scary. And in the past, it did comfort you and it got you to not feel that emotion. But now you realize that's not working. That's not solving the problem. It's just a band-aid. You actually do want to feel that emotion, and you want to comfort yourself in another way that's not going to throw your body off of balance by having something super sweet that may spike your glucose levels and lead to inflammation. I don't know, something like that. So what is the need that this habit is trying to fulfill? When you get to that core need, then you can create, how can I fulfill this need in a more satisfying way? What will actually get me what I want? Is it a sea salt bath? Is it breathing? Is it meditation? What do I need to do to truly self-regulate here? And that is where the shift of the habit really comes from. It's not shaming yourself for going to the cupboard, for not adhering to your conscious eating habits or your nighttime routine. It's really understanding, why do you do these things in the first place? Going into that Piscean energy of understanding the subconscious mind and why you do the things that you do. This is what total understanding and compassion really is. And this is what the healing journey is all about. I know it can feel scary sometimes to look at these habits and be like, oh my gosh, there's so much in my life that I want to change, and I'm so embarrassed about certain things that I do. I find that the things that we do alone and when no one's looking is really telling. But all it takes is just having the confidence and having the courage to look at these unseen things and to accept yourself in them. That we all do them. We're all human. We all have our own little weird quirks and things that we do that we're so embarrassed of. But the more you can bring them to light and understand them, you build this deeper relationship with yourself, because you get really clear on what you really need. And you get all of your ducks in a row and can feel so much more organized. So I hope that those journal questions helped you to build habits. And this is what Vata season is all about. It's about getting grounded. It's about getting in a steady routine so that you can feel clear. A lot of the times Vatas, they come to me, especially with their businesses, and they're like, I don't know what to do. There's so many options and directions that I can get pulled in. I want to execute all my ideas. And that's dispersing your energy when really you need boundaries. You can't do it all. So you need boundaries and focus on what are the needle movers in your business that's going to actually get you to your goals. The same thing starts with the self-healing journey. What are the habits that are going to actually get you through to your body, mind, and spirit goals that you have? And the best way to do that is by clearing space, clearing out what does not need to be held on anymore, and then getting organized, redirecting where you want that energy to focus so that you can feel very clear moving into Vata season. I decided to do a Vata Season Masterclass for your self-healing journey. This is going to be on Tuesday, October 3rd at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's going to be recorded, but I'm also going to be doing it live, and those who attend live will have a special treat. This is really for you to get all things grounded. We're going to identify how to release anxiety, overwhelm, and fear. I'm going to give you the Ayurvedic practices for how you can start to build structure and get organized in your days to feel your nervous system reset and to feel very grounded. And In this masterclass, we're also going to get really deep on how to listen to your intuition. A lot of times with Vatas, they feel pulled in all these different directions because they're taking on a lot of people's energies. So I'm going to take you through an experience of how to really tune into your own intuition and start to turn the dial up and volume on that voice. And of course, we're going to get into diet, or of course, we're going to get into what foods are going to be really helpful for the bloating, the gas, the constipation that is happening. If those are some of the physical symptoms that you are experiencing right now, which is totally normal as we move into Vata season. I know I've been experiencing them. I've been sharing a couple of at-home remedies that I've been doing just to start stimulating my digestion again and getting that warmth and my Agni, which means digestive fire, back online, which sometimes can get a little bit weaker during Vata season. So I have the link below for joining my Vata Season Masterclass. It's going to be super fun. An hour and a half, like I said, it will be recorded, but this is all about getting organized, focused, and clear so you can move through the fall season feeling so good. Because truly fall is that beautiful time where we enjoy all things pumpkin and cinnamon and warming and cozy and grounding. But nothing is worse than feeling the opposite. Nothing is worse than feeling cold and scattered and erratic and like you're flying at the seat of your pants. We were meant to enjoy this Vata season feeling grounded and warm and cozy, and I am going to set you up for success in this masterclass. So sign up with the link in the show notes. I'm super excited for this. And if you're not already following me on my email newsletter, I send out a weekly newsletter with a blog on all things Ayurveda, intuitive readings, and anything about Vedic astrology. So you can sign up with the link in the show notes as well. And if you love this episode, please share it with a friend or family member who would love it too. And I would love and adore it if you could comment, rate, and review either on Spotify. You can now do a star rating, or there's a Q&A. So I'd love to hear any comments you have on the show, what you're feeling. And you can also comment and rate and review on Apple Podcasts. So whatever medium you're using, I would adore you if you please send me a review. And that is all I have for today. I will see you all in this Vata Season Masterclass next Tuesday. I'm super excited, and I'm wishing you all very grounding and warming Vata season ahead.